big impacts. We're watching for the potential of icing, freezing rain, and I think the ice potential and that icing threat still remains to be the #1 concern. We're going to start to see slick and icy roadways as soon as Saturday afternoon, especially by Saturday night, and then Sunday really just start planning to stay home on Sunday, because if this forecast holds together, Sunday seems like that'll be the worst day out of the weekend, and things could really get iced over fast. In addition to that, we could have some snow as well on top of it. We're preparing you for this. You need to be ready for the potential for power outages as well, because when we have ice in the forecast, you put just a little bit of ice on those power lines, on trees. It doesn't take a whole lot of ice for those to come falling down, and then the result of that could be many hundreds, thousands, even millions of people within this storm's track that could be without power starting this upcoming weekend. So what is new? The storm potential, unfortunately, continues to increase, especially the ice potential in general. The snow potential is going down, which is kind of sad. If we're having a southern winter storm, you kind of want some snow with it instead of ice, because ice is really the thing that's hard to deal with. Not seeing a lot of rain potential. I think we'll see rain a little bit on Friday, but when we're talking about our WCNC weather impact alert, this is not because of rain. This is truly because of the combination of ice, snow, and freezing rain mixed in even with some sleet. So the impacts, the highest threats will be heavy ice and heavy snow. Extended travel issues. This is not just going to be one of those days where we have a few hours of inconvenient weather and then the temperatures warm up and we have sunny skies. Oh no, I mean, the ground is going to be cold enough where everything that actually falls is going to stay on the ground, and our air temperatures will stay cold enough all the way until early next week. Power outages, I mentioned it once, we're going to keep on mentioning it again and again, because that's kind of the worst case scenario, is when you don't think the storm's going to hold together and then you're without potentially food and the resources that you need, the things that you need in order to prepare for this. So right now, kind of our time frame, what we're looking for will be between 7 p.m. on Saturday to 7 a.m. on Sunday. That's going to be the window where we think it's going to be actually the worst. So we're suggesting be home by Saturday late in the afternoon. Make sure you have your groceries, you're all good to go, because freezing rain and icy roads will really be what we're watching mainly. So here's our satellite and radar right now. The storm system is going to really start to form right there in Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas. As it continues to track eastward, it's going to bring that wintry threat, because we have the ingredients that are in place. For a winter storm to actually come together in the south, it needs cold air and it needs moisture. And sometimes in the south, it's very hard to get both at the same exact time. And let me just say, this cold blast of Arctic air, I mean, we will have plenty of it. You can see the cold temperatures way up north. All that cold air is going to be heading south. In addition to that, we will have the moisture that we need from that storm that starts to form out there in Texas. Now notice this. The purple here, that's going to be the icing, the mixing, the rain, the snow, freezing rain, and again, could see some sleet. Just north of that, that white, that's going to be the snow, and then south of it will be that cold rain. Now, this is an interesting graphic because this is our winter weather chances for this upcoming weekend. Notice, this extends all the way from Dallas, Oklahoma City, through Arkansas, Kentucky, parts of Louisiana, Mississippi, straight into the Carolinas. So this is moving west to east. Lots of places will be experiencing winter weather. So if you have any traveling plans, whether you're planning on taking an airplane or out on the roads, this is not going to be a good weekend for travel. 70 to 90% chance for winter weather coming our way, even as we zoom it in. Area shaded kind of in that teal color, that's 70 to 90%, 50 just south of us. So let's break this down a little bit more. Comparing two different models. This is Saturday afternoon, 4 o'clock. Of course, remember the blue is just your snow. The pink is going to be that wintry mix. That wintry mix could be snow, freezing rain, some sleet. So this model is showing it starts in the mountains and then overnight Saturday and into Sunday. Here's 3 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. We have all this pink. That pink is likely ice that's going to be falling across our area. And this is also very difficult because if you're looking outside the window and you think, it's just raining, remember how cold the ground temperature is and the air temperature. It's not just your normal rain. That's freezing rain, where the rain falls and then it freezes right at the contact of surfaces. So if you're heading out the door, here's even 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday, we're still seeing a ton of that pink, but we're also seeing green. And again, with temperatures staying so cold on Sunday, this is going to be freezing precipitation. And it's deceiving, especially if you're thinking, okay, on Sunday there's no snow outside my window, and you go to drive or to step outside, and all of a sudden those sidewalks, driveways, any type of cement, even your cars could be frozen over with that glazing of ice. So that's something that we're watching. That's one of our models. Another model is showing this. Here's Saturday morning saying we're waking up on Saturday and it's going to have snow outside. We'll start to see snow for the first part of Saturday. Saturday evening, here's 5 o'clock. This is the same model we're talking about, still indicating that we'll have several hours of snow first before we start to see that pink really take over, and that would be then a wintry mix. And really, I think it's more of that icing threat. So snow, ice, and then potentially that freezing rain on top of it, which is such a bummer because when you have this, at least when it's the weekend, it's a wintry system, a winter storm, at least usually you can, send the kids out to play. You all go sledding, you make your hot chocolate, whatever it is. But because of how this system continues to agree and show us each day that it's not just going to be coming down as rain, for sure, not that, and not all as snow either, I think the concern of ice really needs to be top of mind. Now let's talk about the potential for snow. So this model, our European model, indicates that areas north of Charlotte has the best chance of getting snow. I think that is pretty significant, and that makes sense. That's what we've been seeing. A lot of that blue indicating where we could see higher totals. But then once we switch it over to our GFS, that line drops down a little bit. So we'll be watching to see how far south that line can go, because that kind of cuts off where it's just all snow to the north. Like I think in Virginia, they'll get a lot of snow. And then for us, we're kind of just on that line where it's going to be that mix, which is really not that fun, again, because of the ice potential. So once we blend it together, still it seems like we agree, the models are agreeing that most of that wintry weather, as far as just plain snow goes to the north of us. For us, it's likely that mix of ice, sleet, freezing rain, and yes, even some snow. As for today, it's still cold, but it's going to be a mild day. Low 50s. We'll see temperatures climb into the low 50s this afternoon, which is just about where we should be. Tomorrow we get even warmer. So Thursday will be the warmest day out of our 7-day forecast, nearing 60 degrees. So I would use the next couple of days to just start to prepare for this. Go run your errands. Make sure you have everything you need just in case we do get a 1/2 inch of ice. If we got a 1/2 inch of ice, that would shut down the city. I mean, it would be nearly impossible to travel, to drive. Everything would be iced over. And this is an interesting part of our forecast too, is say we get ice Saturday night and into Sunday. Well, look at those low temperatures, 21 degrees. I mean, anything that falls is not going to melt because we have so much cold air there at the surface that it's going to stick. And with these temperatures, as you can see right here in our 7-day forecast, they stay cold. 37 degrees for our high on Saturday. Then it drops 21 Sunday morning, a high of 29 on Sunday. So again, this could be a scenario where we have potentially some snow, but then over it, that freezing rain and that icing. And then look at this, 26 degrees heading out the door on Monday morning. So Monday morning in general, we're still below freezing. This is not going to allow any time for anything to melt. Monday afternoon, 34 degrees for a high. So even if we melted a little bit throughout the day on Monday, look at Tuesday. That refreezing then could create some issues again on Tuesday with 13 degrees heading out the door on Tuesday. So bottom line, we're preparing you over the next several days that we're confident a winter storm is making its way across the south. Several states will be impacted. And for our viewing area, we're mainly concerned about that wintry mix. We'll take the snow, but we're concerned that this is really going to be an ice issue as well. Even if we get a little bit of snow, that layer of ice on top of it is going to be concerning because it doesn't take that much ice to bring down trees, to bring down power lines, the result of power outages. And of course, travel is going to be very difficult. So make sure you have your food and water, make sure you have those flashlights and batteries, all the first aid kits. If you need to go out and get any medications, make sure you're doing that. Have a game plan for pets. And of course, make sure you're checking your smoke and carbon monoxide detectors too, because once your power goes out, sometimes that's something that's concerning. That's kind of what we're looking at for now. And again, each day we're seeing changes, but not dramatic changes. Everything's still pretty much on track, which is nice for a meteorologist, but as far as letting you know what is coming your way, that's the baseline of it. We don't have our totals yet for how much snow we're going to actually see or what we're forecasting, but hopefully we'll come out with that later today.
Oh, okay. There's going to be an update as far as weather models, tools. Okay.
Totals for snow, because everyone loves to see the maps
Yeah.
that has the totals, but you don't want to do it too far in advance, of course. But I think Brad's coming up with something today, and then we're all just
Okay.
going to put our input in, and then we'll be able to release that.
All right. So, I mean, but we are really preparing for something that is potentially devastating.
Absolutely.
I don't want to, stoke any, fear or
Yes.
real concern, but we really need to be prepared. I was just telling a friend, I'm preparing, I come from Florida,
Yeah.
many hurricanes, so I'm preparing the same kind of way. Enough food and water, batteries full, all those extra battery packs charged,
Yeah.
in case something happens like that.
Yeah, and even I was thinking today, even if we get snow, it's important to go out and shovel too, because none of it is going to melt anytime soon.
Right.
So I know there's a lot of essential workers too, where it's we have to get to work, we have to do those types of things.
Exactly.
So get out and actually take care of it, because it's just going to be that crunchy, hard stuff that's hard to get rid of.
Ooh, I can see the snow smelt being bought out.
Yes, I could too.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Stay
Thanks,
close to
Majestic.
our team. We'll be on it for you guys.
You guys are going to be all over. We are all
Yeah.
hands on deck here in WCNC Charlotte on the Plus. We're going to take it extra coverage as well throughout the weekend. So I know I'm going to be close to my phone with my app downloaded.
Yes, good.
And so you will want to do that as well. Thanks, Majestic.
Thank you, guys.
All right, we'll see Chris Mulcahy coming up at 10 o'clock here this morning on WCNC Charlotte for another live forecast update on this wintry weather that is heading our way.